unheard. Oh, what you know about me? Oh, what you know about me? Oh, what you know about me?
Hey,
live and direct, B. Live and
special.
direct, man. Stop playing, man. Live and direct, man.
You live and direct, and you're messing up. You're fucking up the intro already.
You're live and direct, man.
I needed that before we got the live, nigga. This is my turn. This is what I do. This is 199. You already know, episode more than a title. Special, super special episode today. I'm your host as usual, Jarrett, Chief Revenue Officer, Outside the Box Digital, and of course, I got my brother, my brethren, your favorite CEO, Cuzzo. What's the vibes?
Live and direct, man. I'm excited, man. You know what I'm saying? Special episode, man. You know what I mean? I'm excited.
Super. And I know as usual, we got a special guest with us, but why it's special for us and more than entitled in 199 episodes, we have a new co-host, y'all. Y'all see it now, Dash in the corner. This is our sis, our first co-host. So when you see her, you see us. When you see us, you see her. We are a team, we are family, and we're going to grow and scale this thing together. So sis, I want to tell you on air in front of our listeners, we are honored to have you. I'm so proud to have you a part of the team. I'm proud of everything you do. And I'm glad to call you sis and be a partner. Let's make this thing happen.
Honestly, I feel the same way. Listen, to all those who viewed me when I was first on the show, I told you I'd be back. I'm glad to be here. And these are my two big bros. And I'm so excited to start this journey with y'all.
I love it. Yo, for 1 second. Yo, Twitch, stop bullshitting with the iced tea shit. Right? I don't look like iced tea. I don't. Danisha, Twitch been killing me.
What's the story behind that? I'm late. Let me know.
Keep it 100. You gotta wear that, bro. They was calling me Unc, and you was loving that shit, bro. You iced tea. Don't try to get away from your fucking nickname now, bro. I'm gonna hold you accountable, bro. And they was calling me Unc. You like, yo, that's Unc. That's Unc. So you iced tea, motherfucker.
Good to know. It's good to know you got a nickname that I didn't know about.
Absolutely.
All right.
Bro, take us away. Let's make this happen, baby.
Oh, you already know. Listen, man. Listen, I'm excited, man. Ladies and gentlemen, just understand that we are still in Women's History Month. You understand what I'm saying? We are celebrating our Black queens, and guess what, man? It makes us so excited and elated to be able to do this again for the second year straight. Where we can honestly say, without a doubt, we've had nothing but females every episode all month long. That's a testament to let you guys know how we feel about our queens out here, that we don't just walk and we talk it. So you know how we like to start the show, man, G&T, and it's dedicated to the Black queens out there, Black and brown queens. We're grateful for you guys. You guys give life. You guys, are the support system, the backbone that allows a lot of us strong men to become the men that we are. You help raise us and shape us, man. So we're grateful and we're thankful to all our Black queens, Black and brown queens out there that's fighting the good fight from day to day. G&T goes to my Black and brown queens out there. You know what it is?
You know that. And also shout out to another Black queen. Angel Live is an entire live podcast network team. So if you want more content from content creators like More Than a Title, make sure you pull out your phone, scan the QR code, download the app, and half of your subscription goes to the content creator of your choice. They are the first women-owned, Black-owned podcast network in the world and the largest Black-owned podcast network in the world. So that's something we're going to celebrate and champion all day. And with that said, y'all know how we like to start this thing. We're going to get this queen the introduction she deserves, and we're going to make this thing happen like this.
Let's start the show.
I'm gonna keep it all the way real. Before I give you an intro, sis, you was at Black Week. I don't know how we didn't connect at Black Week, but you was one person we wanted to. So I don't know if you remember seeing us at Black Week, but we was every day running around like chickens with our heads cut off. But I want to let you know your name is being spoken about in a lot of different rooms, right? We spoke to a lot of people that we've had on the show, and your name constantly comes up as somebody that we had to have on. So when I reached out to you and I was on, I was like, I don't know, she don't know me. I don't know what she gonna say. Maybe a yes, no. And you just hit me up immediately. It was like, yo, we're gonna do this. We're gonna set a date. We're gonna make this happen. So we're honored, and we're here to give you your flowers. And let's let the people know what you do and how you be putting on for the culture. So this young queen is a true champion of storytelling, inclusivity, and cultural impact. As the inaugural head of client inclusivity and impact at Digitas North America, she's been on a mission to shift behaviors, dollars, and mindsets towards real change. From shaping major brand initiatives to producing award-winning films like The Beauty of Blackness, she's breaking barriers and showing unheard voices get the spotlight they deserve. Her leadership has earned accolades like the induction at the AAF Advertising Hall of Fame achievement, recognition as the Ad Color Rockstar nominee, and multiple top industry awards for her work in DEI and media strategy. But beyond the titles, she's a mentor, advocate, mother, changemaker, and most important, the mother's the best title, but most importantly, a mother, right? You know, you've seen her at Black Week.
Boom.
Seen her at Ad Color. You've seen her in the boardroom. I know y'all see it. You've seen her at Arrival. I saw that. We're gonna get into that. That looked dope.
Big boom. Big boom.
All of the ad age, you name it. But now she's here for the very first time on your favorite podcast. Let's introduce our sis, Miss Danisha Lomax, y'all. Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm gonna need you to read that bio every single time because that's the hype I need every day, especially on a day like today where there are a million things going on. But I'm so excited to be sharing space with y'all on the pod.
No, we appreciate.
I think you might have another hat, man. She's like the 12th guest that done said that, man. I might have to like build you out as an unofficial hype man, man.
I love it. Yes, please.
But you already know, for everybody, shout out to everybody on the check, and I see LinkedIn going crazy, Twitch is going crazy, Instagram going crazy.
Yes,
if this is your first time listening to More Than Title, we like to celebrate our guests, and we like to start it from the top. Queen, tell us about growing up and some early influences.
Yeah. So like we were talking earlier, I love to tell everybody where I'm from. I'm from the Bay, specifically San Francisco, Oakland. I rep both places. Both sides of my family came up this way via Louisiana, New Orleans, and Lake Charles to be specific. So my roots are real Bay. My roots are real gritty. My roots are, you know, growing up in the Bayview, Hunters Point, full of sunshine, but also the reality of what it's like to be a Black person living in the city and not having the economics needed in our community to really kind of thrive and shine. But that part of the city made me. And so my early influences are definitely my parents. I wanted to be a lawyer. And so, you know, inspired by Thurgood Marshall and many others, a lot of the unsung women who were working with him on, you know, bringing justice and equity to our community. And so I felt like I could do that growing up. I was always arguing with my parents. They used to be like, "You're not a lawyer yet." And I was like, "I'm just practicing," you know, but that's what I kind of wanted to be. And those are the people who influenced me, I will say, because like I mentioned, both sides of my family came up from Louisiana. I got to give credit to my grandmothers, my great grandmother, who decided to blaze a trail that she never knew and find a way and make a way in the Bay. So, you know, the strong women in my life move me, they propel me, they continue to keep me going. They're my ancestors. And so that's really where I got to give credit to.
Shout out to the Queens. Would you say you from so great grandma went to Louisiana, right? And then she moved to the Bay, right?
Yep, she did. She moved to Oakland, set up her life, had 2 children who had 7. And so we just big family grew. And then my grandmother, she was from New Orleans and she ended up settling in San Francisco. That's where my dad was raised. That's where I'm from. And so, you know, the migration was real and they were looking for opportunity and they did what they had to do to get it and find it.
I know we still figuring out our process. I don't want to figure this out. We're going to get it right.
Yeah, bear with us. You know, we getting our flow, so we appreciate
it's nothing to bear with. It's all good. We fam. It's cool. Don't worry.
Yeah, when you speak, like honestly, that's
I want to give Natasha a chance to go ahead and, you know, jump in. And, you know, we already started the show, so I'm like, listen, go ahead and jump in. Go ahead, girl.
Yeah, no,
your shit.
Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
And that's why my big bros, they the best. Like that's why we family for life.
Yeah.
Honestly, like what you said about your grandmother totally resonates with me. Taking that big leap. I have both my grandmothers. They took that long journey. My mom on my dad's side, she's Haitian and she came from Haiti to America. So like and she's always been a go-getter. Even right now at her insert age here, she won't let me tell y'all on live.
You know, that's the rule. Yeah, you can't tell that age.
I can't. Okay, she's 25.
Right.
And even to this day, like she's still kicking. Like sometimes, like her favorite place to go is Home Depot. Like she's still active. Like she still wants to keep moving and growing. So I absolutely love that. You know, like and she pushes me to keep going. And that's what made me want, honestly, y'all hear our story, how I got to this podcast, but that's what pushed me. So I want to hear like something from you about like what made you want to like get to that next level in your career. Like what was your driving force?
Yeah. So like I said, I wanted to be a lawyer. I graduated from San Francisco State with a BA in Africana Studies. It was really important for me to learn about my people, the history beyond enslavement, and really just kind of ground myself in everything that we are, how we see the world, how we view the world, which is very much community first. So that was important for me to get a degree in that. And I minored in criminal justice. But when I tell y'all I did not go to law school, because you did not read that in the bio. So literally 3 months after getting my degree, my mom was working at an advertising agency at the time called AKQA. And she said, they want to start a media department. You know, they're trying to get into digital. I think you should interview, which was really her nice way of saying, girl, you need a job. And so I interviewed, and when I tell you I started as a billing coordinator, that was my title at the time. And what that meant was I'm making sure, you know, partners, platforms, publishers like yourselves were getting paid. I was reconciling the dollars from where we were spending and making sure they were getting paid. But I think what I learned starting that at that level, at that role, was that you had to learn all the points and pieces of what makes a business work, what makes it run. And so coming in at the ground level, not really having any understanding of the mechanics of digital marketing and media at the time, that was so eye-opening for me. And so the grit was really like working my way up from there, but truly, literally having every single job a person could have before you got into strategy and into planning really set the stage for me to understand how things are done, where the dollars go, how the dollars get to where they need to go. And that was a building block for me in the process of kind of growing in my expertise in this area.
I feel like we kind of really skipped over the early influences though. Before we get too far into the career, like why so African, you know, lawyer, African stuff, what was the influence into that, right? Because, you know, I don't know how big like law is in the Bay Area, like how popular it is, because I know like some places are known for lawyers, right? Some places are known to produce a lot of doctors, some places are known to produce a lot of, is the Bay Area known for producing a lot of lawyers? Like why law specifically? Like, can you just touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, I can, but Kamala Harris, shout out to her. I just want to throw that out there. What is beautiful about the Bay is that it has been an ecosystem for economic social justice, right? So when you think about the Black Panthers, when you think about kind of agitators who have started things that have shifted the way we think about ourselves in our community, that's the Bay. And so having that background and understanding of how much we've kind of influenced the civil rights movement in different ways helped me understand that having a clear understanding of the law was going to try to help me do that better in what I wanted to do in the future. So I got to give credit to the Bay Area for their part in civil rights and moving things forward. I mentioned I went to San Francisco State University. I did want to go to an HBCU. I didn't make it there, but one of the things that people don't talk about often, or maybe they don't know, is during the Vietnam War, people were really in the streets. They were calling for more classes, ethnic studies, different things of that nature, more learning about ourselves as people and where we've kind of come from and what we've done to be infused in education. So that tie there was very strong for me as well. So that kind of all led to the law as what I thought it would be.
See, that makes sense. That makes sense. I love that answer. See, I wasn't expecting that. That's why I was like, let me just ask a little bit more about
Thank you for that double click. Yeah, no.
Yeah, because I was like, you know, as children, they say in life that you actually change your career mentally from a child to an adult like 3 times. I think the average is like 3 times, right? Like most children have a childhood dream that they see that they kind of want to do, and then once you get into like your high school, into college years, you kind of shift that because now you have life experience. You're like, okay, that was cool as a kid, but I don't really want to do that. Let me do this, and then into your like 20s and 30s, you're like, yeah, I tried that. I don't want to do that. Let me get focused in on that. So it's interesting to find out that like this was deep rooted for you and that this is something that you wanted to do from like this is what I want to do. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I actually didn't even know the point about changing careers 3 times, but it totally makes sense. But I think what I also hear you saying is that what is kind of putting you from a purpose perspective when you're young finds a way to stick with you. And I do resonate with that very well, just in terms of kind of what I'm doing now. And let me take it before college too. I mentioned my parents, and I went to a very affirming Christian kind of Pan-Africanist elementary school into middle school. And so while we were learning about God and love and things of that nature, we were literally learning about people in our history. We were being affirmed as Black children that we could literally do anything we wanted to do. We could have any career we wanted to have. And so just being kind of poured into at that young age from all those different perspectives has been very helpful. And I'm definitely blessed to have that experience. I know people have the opportunity to have, or maybe it gets lost, but those parts of my life have been very consistent.
I'm glad you didn't go to Dr. Umar school. When Dr.
I did not expect you to go there. You shocked the shit out of me.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Another conversation.
Went to school, but I want to know, because you just want to studies, right? Like, what is one gem, or what is one thing that you didn't know going into it that you wouldn't mind sharing with the culture that you'd want us to know?
Yeah, one of the earlier books I read in my studies was They Came Before Columbus. And it was talking about people who came from different parts of Africa to the Americas, Turtle Island before it was the Americas, and how we were engaging with different communities, the indigenous community, and really, having relationships, right? Like understanding people, navigating things. And so that book really struck me as like, why couldn't I learn about this as a child? Often in kind of public school settings, we start our history at slavery, and it leads to, or it can lead to a deficit mentality if that's where you think things start. And so it was just very eye-opening for me to really unpack how we were navigating things without any type of colonial engagement at that time.
I can imagine. I'm not too versatile, but I find it interesting that you went into that, then went into media, and then used that as a way to help us in the media space. But we're going to get into that.
It's often, I'm like, man, that was some strategy right there. I wasn't thinking that was not, let me just be clear with everybody. It kind of was getting pieces together, slowly and surely, but just getting that knowledge and knowing that if there's that uncovered history for my community, I know it's there for others. And how do we start to unpack a lot of those cultural artifacts that have been hidden from us that we really need to know about, and how do we infuse that into the work today?
Right.
Well, that's super rare.
I like to go crazy. Like, Danisha, I'm gonna ask you a real question. I need the real.
So the other questions haven't been real. Like, what are we?
We getting you warmed up.
Okay. I'm just teasing. I'm teasing y'all.
The political stuff is good, but our listeners really want to know, when you seen that first law textbook, when that shit dropped on the desk and it was like this fucking big and words this long, did it make you reconsider? Like, God, this is one textbook? Like.
You know what? I'm not even gonna hold you. One of my Africana studies teachers was a former lawyer, and she literally said, I ran. I had to get out of here. She was like, I couldn't do it no more. So now I'm here teaching you about the law, which is important, right? As it pertains to Black folks and again, like how we've used the law to get, equality and kind of things passed through strategy in the law. Her perspective was amazing because again, it's all up to interpretation. But yeah, no, I had to pass. I was like, okay, thank you for telling me. I won't be going to law school. I'll pass.
Message.
Other day on the show about the doctors, I was like, shout out to anybody that can be a doctor. Shout out to anybody that can be a lawyer, because I've seen those textbooks, right?
Yeah.
Dumb shits is the Encyclopedia Britannica, the entire set.
I mean, listen, my sister, she's 32, she's a doctor, and yes, we went through a lot, had to study a lot. It's all about studying. It's all about, kind of memorization as well. But she took the L and the win for us on that one. I kind of ducked out.
Man, just reading those books and then all the extra time that goes into it between the
all
studies.
the extra time. I remember like being on calls with her, just like helping her study, like stay on like 2 hours, just studying. Okay, can you quiz me on this? Can you quiz me on that? So, you know, some people can do it, and we need them. We need them in those spaces. So if you can do it, do it.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
If somebody want to know, if y'all want to know what it is to be, why it's important for us to have Black doctors, make sure y'all go to Wednesday's episode with Dr. Sophie Balzora.
Okay.
Talking that
talk. Right.
And let me add to that, and Black lawyers. And not only Black lawyers, but preferably Black lawyers that have actually been through some type of struggle so that they understand the people that either they're going to defend or they're going to represent. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's the same message, right? You can hire a high-priced lawyer that's good at their job, but if they don't truly understand the lifestyle and the decision-making that leads you to become a client, then they can't really relate. It's just kind of like a work-based relationship, which is always not going to be the best.
Message.
Yeah.
That was super real.
You know what I mean? Like, so
I ain't gonna front. This is I like this, but I'm getting used to it.
Yeah.
I'm getting used to it. I'm so used to just jumping in this mug.
You gotta hold it.
I love it. No, I love it. It's gonna be a challenge and a good challenge. I love it. Since you guys something, because I got like 1,000.
I mean, okay, because I was like, I'm ready to get into like I have questions.
When we take those pauses, that's for you. Because me and him already know the case. Yeah, we take those pauses.
You better take that intro.
Okay. Oh yeah, I'm gonna listen. If you're gonna give me space, I'm gonna take it.
That's right.
Oh, there it is.
That shot.
Mm-hmm.
All right, since we're jumping into your career, for me, just as a Black woman in the creative space, I want to know like. And we all say like imposter syndrome, and we all try to like stop using that word. But you know that feeling of like being the other and the only in the room. Like, how did you personally navigate that experience? And like, and what was some advice you'd give to young professionals today when they do enter those spaces?
Yeah, first of all, let me just acknowledge. I love that you're saying we're stopping using the phrase imposter syndrome. And I in my friend circle, we talk about it all the time. Like, nothing is fake about me, so therefore I cannot be an imposter. Everything I have, God has given to me, so it's not fake. But to answer your, I have always been me. I remember, so back to the story about getting a job and my mom wanted me to take the interview. At the time I was rocking a honey blonde afro. I was, kind of coming out of college. I'm still like in my zone. And she was like, oh, you don't want to, like perm your hair? And I was like, no, girl, I'm not going to perm it. I'm going to go on this interview and I'm going to take the interview like this. And if I get the job, I get the job. And so just knowing that I can show up in a space and place and be myself, not because I'm trying to fight against something per se, but I'm being myself. And I think that is the advice I would give younger folks coming up. And even I would give to myself and ourselves, right? Like, remember that you are you and you can only be the you that you are. And so anytime you think about diminishing that, you're literally diminishing your power. And power isn't always about like this big kind of tangible thing. Power is relations. Power is community. Power is being. And so that is the advice. That is what I do. I'm going to show up as me, whoever that version of me is that day, because I will change a wig on y'all real quick, and I love to do it.
Message. Fumble.
Before we get too far, I just want to let you know, Danisha, Instagram is blowing up. Instagram, I'm going to try to get to a lot of your comments and stuff. You got people saying, go Danisha. You got people saying Danisha is the truth. Big props for having her on the show. That you're a wonderful person. Like, so the comments are coming in super fast. If we can't get to all of the comments, we're sorry, guys. But we just want to let you know, Danisha, that the comments are going crazy for you on Instagram and stuff.
Just put it out there for the fans that's on Instagram. If you go to YouTube and put your comment in it, we will put it on the show. We cannot put it on the show from Instagram. So if you want to be involved and make it interactive, go to YouTube right now, please, y'all. But I will say something about you, Danisha. Yeah. You being your authentic self is what I always got from afar. Right? Like, I've seen pictures, like when people tell me like you need to speak to Danisha. So I'm like, all right, let me go see what's up. Danisha, I see you with the hair slayed to the joint, you got the long nail, you come through you yourself. Like, so
100%.
one thing I've heard from one of my mentors is like, yo, it takes 10 years for you to be your authentic self. For you to come out that out the gate, like what created that mindset for you to be like, I don't care, day one, I'm gonna be this. I'm me.
Yeah. You know, again, it was that affirmation as a child. You're Black, you're beautiful. You can do whatever you can do, whatever you put your mind to, you can manifest it, you can achieve it. It's those things that I was told all the time. If God is love, you're love, like those things matter. They stick with you. And so thinking about representing myself kind of like outwardly, it's just an outward expression of all of that. So, you know, I can't ever recall a time where I wasn't this. My parents laugh at me to this day. They're like, you've always been this. Maybe my nails weren't this long, but you know, it was there.
Oh, you gotta show off the nails. We're only getting a little sneak peek.
We're doing a little. It's
Okay.
really a different take on Trench.
You can relate to that too, Cuzzo, because I mean, for the most part, we've been who we've been since children. The initial essence of who we were.
Right.
You understand? We've evolved, right? We've evolved to separate ourselves from the negativity that comes with us being raised in the urban communities. But we've always been. When our mothers came on the show, Danisha, we had our mothers come on the show.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, we had our mothers come on the show, and one thing that our mothers said.
I'm sure.
Just to get them on StreamYard was an hour. I'm like, damn, that shit was hard.
Well, good. Moms need to see what's going on and get some love and
yeah.
reaction.
But one thing they said was the same thing. They was like, you know, who we've been from children. That's why they was like, we would love to come on because it reaffirmed. They was like, they've been this way since they were kids. You understand? Like I said, we just matured and we just understood that we're here for a greater purpose. Almost like you, right? We understood like we're here and we're here for a greater purpose and we're special, right? We're not gonna fall into just the normalcy of what everybody else in our family, in our neighborhood, in our communities is doing because we felt like we had something special about us. So we could definitely relate to that.
But I will give you.
I love that.
I felt that at first, right? But when I got in corporate America, I was like, yo, look, I'm gonna come and be myself. And I felt like my performance would justify whatever, right? If I'm making sales, I'm doing this, I can justify the look. I can justify this. So when I first came into corporate America, I had baggy slacks and braids down my back, looking like I was in Catholic high school, Prada's on and shit. I was looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, all right, I'm good because I'm creating sales, but I had to cut my hair in order to grow, right? And then it wasn't until I actually found out what the value I was providing to the company and the organization that was like, now I got my head up high, chest out and all that good stuff, but you have to learn that thing. You know, if you broke, I was smelling like ribs and I'm getting my first drink where I get a salary position, nigga, I got the fade quick. I said, boop, came through with the tape up on them on Monday. You shitting me? I ain't going back to BBQs. So I do feel you.
First of all,
we appreciated you at BBQs though, because one you always was the hookup.
I was about to say, I'm sure you was making somebody's life happy.
Danisha, he was one of the number one requested.
Sure.
Where's Jarrett's table? Where's Master's table? Oh, he got a line. You got to sit somewhere else.
I mean, brother, but you be 19, you got your little girlfriend. Show me a Metro card. Don't look stupid. Don't make me lose my job. I'm gonna make sure you get right. It's gonna be a good night.
That's right. And that's it. But I love what you're saying though about because you do got to go through some things, and like I don't want folks to be like, oh, you kind of came out and you already had this like sensibility about you. It was grown over time, and you know the trial and error, the like knocking my head up against some things through life and learning, like that also enhances you too. And I don't want to diminish that because that's again the grit and kind of going through some things, living a life will teach you quick too.
Yeah. What about you, Nadej? You got a story about how you grew into this form that you are in today? Like you feel like you changed up? What's your story?
Oh yeah, honestly, I would, and my mom would probably tell you, oh, Nadej has always been that way.
Okay.
But to me, like, you know, from the inside looking in, like Nadej when she was 9, 10, 12, 13 is very different than the 27-year-olds you see standing today. And I think that comes with a lot of, like you said, trial and error. You know, learning who your tribe is, learning who yourself is. And I find, and I'll say for me right now at this stage in my life, learning who yourself is really just relearning who you were as a child and being unapologetically yourself. Because as you grow up, people tell you what you're not.
Yes.
You were born who you were supposed to be. God made you exactly who you're supposed to be. And you go through life, you know, people telling what you're not. Yeah. And I'm in this like that phase where, you know, go back like to exactly who you were. You now just, you elevate her because you're older, you're wiser. But that person who you were when you were a child is still who you are now. You're just, you know, relearning and refining that.
Yeah.
I beat you
Yeah,
too.
like- yeah, but
I'm the biggest gun on this side of the Mississippi. You can't beat me on the message.
yeah, I love that you pointed out that, you know, it's not an overnight thing. It is a journey. And I think we do need to recognize that journey for people because, you know, some people get lucky and find it at 19 and some people, you know, 45. But as long as you get
As long as you found it. Yeah, that's right.
We
And
talk
then the
about
story you have to
self-confidence.
tell. Sorry, I was just gonna say, and then the story
No,
you
go
have
ahead.
to come back and tell, like that's the power too, right? Like
Right.
there's so much power in being able to come back and tell people, like, this is how I overcame, or this is how I found myself again. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and I was just alluding to. Can we talk about self-confidence for a second, right?
Okay.
The difference between when you're a child and you are fearless and you just have that confidence that whatever I want to be, whatever I want to do is right because this is what I feel, right?
Right.
And like Nadesh said, and like, you know, our listeners are saying, like, when you go through life, it beats that self-confidence down.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe this isn't right. Maybe this isn't right. Right. But after you go through so much, you kind of get to that breaking point where you like, man, fuck it. I don't care no more.
That's right.
Because I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. So why even fucking pretend? Let's just push forward the way we are. And you know what I mean? And let it, and like, you know, Nadej would say, leave it in God's hands. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be, right? If it's meant for you, then you're going to have it. But I think self-confidence and the positive affirmations from a child go a long way to that, to inserting that, right? And Cuzzo does that with his son. And you can see a lot of people that just really pour into their children with that you can be anything, you can do anything attitude. You can see how they develop very quickly. It doesn't take them 10, 15 years for you to see that personality. You see it at a very young age. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. I see it in my kids. You know, my son is 10 and I'm always like, ask me questions. Don't just take what I say as face value. Challenge me. Like, what do you think? And so it's getting him in the mindset of, you know, I have an opinion. Let me form it and let me deliver it. And I do the same with my daughter. She's 15. It's like, well, what do you think? Let's get into the conversation. I tell people all the time, we have Friday nights, like sit on the couch, ask me anything moment. Like literally whatever's on your mind, we talk about it. Because I want them to, one, hear it from me, because, you know, misinformation, disinformation is wild. These kids are on all types of social media, even though I definitely have a big kind of separation from it in the house. But like, I want you to be able to have some dialogue. I want to teach you how to talk about it. And so it's important for our kids to know how to do that and to hear it from their parents.
But
my mother had that too. Yeah, because
I was gonna say, I'm curious. No, what's the, since it's Women's History Month, what's the best gem that you've gotten from your mama, and what's the best gem you think you've given to your daughter?
Ooh, that's good. I'm
almost done with my dindu.
Want a break?
Water.
A best gem. I mean, so when I do have a moment of like anxiety or nervousness, I'll call her up and be like, hey, Ma, let me just walk you through this. Before I even say anything, she'd be like, you got it. And I'm like, she's just so confident about reminding me how confident I am. You got it. And I'm like, you know what? That's actually what I needed to hear. I didn't even need to walk you through my problem. I needed to be reminded that I know what the answer is in my head and I need to just go execute. So I'll give that to my mom. She does that all the time. What the thing I've given to my daughter?
I know that's a tough one. I couldn't answer that. I'm like, damn, I done said some shit.
Man, I wish Kamaya was here so she can answer the question for you. I would say, you know, actually exposing her to what it means to be a single mom and all the things that I do. And it's not really a piece of advice, but I'm very vulnerable about moms, you know, struggling right now, or I'm not really sure about this thing that I'm trying to work out. Like, I'm very honest about my feelings about things. And so I think having her see me be open and honest, I know, you know, past generations, we kind of hide. We don't really let folks tune in on the problems, but talking about them with her lets me know that she can, you know, see that I'm not truly Superwoman in the sense that I can do whatever I want and I'm just gonna like bulldoze everything, but I'm Superwoman in the fact that I can acknowledge when I'm not having a great day or I'm not having a great moment.
That message being Superwoman.
Yeah.
right? You letting you know that I am just human. That's superwoman,
Correct.
right? Like what Tessa said earlier was like, the affirmation for your mom and pops. Like, it depends on what your parents are actually doing. You got to show me that you actually can do whatever you need to do for me to actually believe that shit.
Right.
If you're doing whatever, like you could be a doctor. Why you ain't a doctor?
Not the why you ain't a doctor.
I'm keeping it real.
No, but yeah.
I show some results.
Yeah.
And I love that you're vulnerable with your daughter. That's real.
Yeah.
No, I think that's so important because kids see that regardless. And when you explain it to them, it makes them understand, and they don't have to be assumed and confused. Because I'll say, like, my mom was always very transparent with me about what she was going through, but it was appropriate to be like, listen, right, mom's not having a great day. Give me 5 minutes, and I'll come be there for you when I can.
Yeah.
Because right, if they see you angry, upset, or mad, and then it's like, oh, maybe it's me, it's my fault. I know so many of my friends growing up, like, no, it's not your fault. It's just mommy's having a moment. I need me something
right now. Exactly. Yeah.
I think we have to stop, and don't take this the wrong way, ladies, but women do this more than men, right? We have to stop.
Now I'm taking it the wrong way.
No,
I already took it the wrong way when you said it.
It's the truth. Like, we have to stop like coddling children so long. We're not doing them a great service by coddling them so long and not introducing them to life experiences until a life experience happens, and then you're trying to backtrack. Like, fathers are more like upfront, right? We like, listen, this is what it is, this would not. Mom is like, oh, they're too young, they'll learn. We got to stop that, right? We have to understand that children are sponges and they learn very quick, right? They say every generation is like stronger, faster, right? They learn faster, right? So we have to start teaching our children and preparing them from a younger age for what life is, to what life has in store for them. By the time they get to a teenage level, they can understand the concept of how to navigate it. You don't want to wait until something happens and then try to backtrack and then teach all these lessons in one shot, because then they're going to look at you like you're overloading them. You understand what I'm saying? I think we have to get better as a culture in doing that, right? And me and my cousin do that as well, Danisha. I don't know, like I said, we didn't run into you at Black Week, but my son was at Black Week. You understand what I'm saying? He was one of the cameramen. And when we go to other events, Jarrett's son, when possible, when he's not in school, he's there. You understand? So we do that in real time, and we don't sugarcoat shit. Listen, this is what we need. This is why we need it. Some days is good, some days is bad, but this is what success looks like, right? Yes, you want to go have a job where you just go to work and do, okay, that's fine. But we're teaching you the other side of that. This is what entrepreneurship looks like. So now, by the time my son is already grown, he's 23, but by the time Jarrett's kids get of age, now they have a great balance where they can say, okay, I know it. A regular job is, but now I know what orange, and now they can say, which one do I really want to do? Because now they have a great understanding of what both is going to require, and then that'll give them an easier way to navigate it.
No, I love that. I may have taken issue with how you started off that statement, but
I gotta get the emotion.
You do. I was like, okay, I don't know, but I'm gonna listen and see. I'm gonna listen and see if we connect in the dots. But no, I think you're right. It's to your point. It's exposing them to other ways of doing things early and often, so that when life hits, good or bad, or it's somewhere in between, they can bounce back and navigate. Now, I love that.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. You gonna shoot? I'm gonna let you put it by the rim. You want me to put you by the rim?
Okay. Ask the question. No, go ahead. No, you go ahead, because I have some other questions, but they come a little later.
Okay.
Yeah, sis, I love it. You're producing. I love it, sis. Get comfortable. Let it go. This is our thing. But all right. So I'm curious though. Right. So you started the agency, you had to learn the entire business. You're starting on digital. Digital is just kind of, digital transformation is just becoming a thing. I'm curious for you, like, let's start with this. What's your favorite moment in your career? What's the mama I made it? Like, we usually ask this later, but I'm curious, what's the one moment that if we had to say Danisha's career and one thing you could tell your mama, your grandmama, like, what's one thing that you like, that's it?
I mean, I think I've had very many micro moments of mama, I made it, if you will.
Yeah.
Because, we're always selling something in this industry. And like, if you get the client to agree to your idea for a campaign, you're like, yes, I feel like I won. Or, you know, you win an award for some work that was put out there that had never been done before. You're like, I made it, I won. But I will go a little bit with some recency bias. You know, being inducted into the Advertising Hall of Achievement was a big deal for me last year. I wasn't expecting it. It was something that it shocked me, and I think it was a good thing, because sometimes we can get into the monotony of work and putting out some great work, but then moving on, because that's just how this industry rolls. But it was really a moment for me to take a look back over my career and what I've done in my community, my children, and really be like, wow, it's amazing to be recognized in this way. I didn't ever think about it, which is dream bigger, Danisha. You know, so it's like little things like that where you're like, okay, thank you. I needed to see that, not to take a step back or just relax, but to be like really motivated to do more.
But how does that work? The second part, how does that work though, the Advertising Hall of Fame? Because we talk to a lot of people that do campaigns, and it's usually a team. So how is it to the point where you're getting the recognition from it? You know what I'm trying to say? Like what?
Yeah, no, it's a really great question. Please follow American Advertising Hall of Achievement and Federation on Instagram, LinkedIn, every place. And if I messed up that name, I will fix it with links and things like that. Like, they do a lot of work in the community. They've been around for a very, very long time. There is a process for nominating folks. And so if you know previous folks who have won awards, please reach out to them, reach out to me, say, I think my career is worthy of XYZ. I've been doing these things. And that's a way to start to kind of expand your network and get introduced to what they do.
Fire.
Yeah.
No, I like that.
I like it. So I'm gonna ask you a question. You know, what type of personality do you have when it comes to
you can't tell already?
No. When it comes to like work though, right? Because a lot of times, I strayed away from jobs where it was like too much of a big team, right? And I'm too much of a big team because I'm like an overworker, right? I end up a lot of times doing my fucking job, and then if somebody's slacking, I'm doing their job, and I'm helping out so much, right? But I feel like a lot of the times when the team fails, I feel like not defeated, but I get angry because I'm like, if you was just doing you know what I mean? If you was just doing your, sometimes I like to work on my own because it's like a lot of people don't share in my work ethic. They don't share in it, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes I feel like when you with a big team, right? People know if you're an overachiever, and they kind of like lay on. They're like, because Danisha, she ain't gonna want her name smeared, so she gonna pick up this work and do. You know what I mean? So how do you feel about situations? That's why I asked you, like, how do you feel about situations like that? Like, you know, how do you feel about that?
Yeah. So I hear you in that. You know yourself, and you know where you work best. I do believe part of my purpose is to motivate and bring people along for the vision, to get them motivated to do the thing. I'm not saying it's easy. There are times when I have felt like, I'm really carrying the weight here. But I just don't stop there. I think my responsibility to my team is to come back and say, hey, I feel like right now I'm doing 70%. I really would love if you could take this on, because that gives them accountability, and people want to be accountable for things. Sometimes they lose their way. So it's re-engaging them and getting them reinvigorated to be accountable to the deliverable for the entire team. And I think that's how I do it, because I do like to, and I'm being choiceful with my words because I'm working on this. I like to work. I'm not even gonna hold you. Work in the fact that, like, coming up with the vision and a strategy and seeing the idea come to life, and again, getting a client to buy off on it and believe in the same thing, all that energizes me. But I have to know my limits, and, you know, I need to let other people be part of that vision. So it can't just be like, I love to do it so much, I'm going to hoard it. No, I need to have a community mindset, because if we win, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate that answer. I appreciate it.
Yeah, but my kids will tell you, listen, if you were to ask them, they'd be like, she work all the time.
Right.
Talk about.
So I'm like, I'm saying, I'm not gonna hold you. I do like to do that, but it's not who I am. It's not my identity, you know. So
it's a value system that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you just feel like I'm doing all of these fucking things.
Yeah.
I'm doing, and yes, the team is dope and this and this and that, but sometimes you feel slighted, right? Because we're so talented. It's like, yo, I'm doing all of these things, but I'm getting paid this, but I'm doing his job, I'm doing her job. And then when that negativity come, then we all sharing it equally, but we didn't share the workload equally. Like that's the part that like,
and that's where that self-advocacy comes in though. Like, hey, manager, boss, person above, like this is where we are. This is where I'm seeing some gaps are. I need you to help me figure out how to navigate these gaps. Here are a couple ideas I have, but anything else you can help bring to the table so we can navigate this right. I think self-advocacy goes along with that self-confidence that you were mentioning earlier, because that's a part of it. You can't just not raise the flag. That is one thing corporate will teach you real quick. Like, everybody is accountable, and the people in leadership, they love to hear the wins, but they also have to hear we got a problem on aisle 6 and I need some help.
That's real. But also coming from somebody that's in the advertising space too, bro. The best way to show that your leadership is knowing people's strengths and skills and being able to help them and put them in the right position to help them win.
Yes.
Like, so if we lose, it's on me for not seeing. Like, so you saying like, yo, I'm gonna do your job and do your job. I'm not going to do your job.
No,
I'm going to get you to help me on my stuff or whatever our stuff is. If I know that you're really good, you're a graphic artist, you're great on strategy, you're great on PPC, you're doing this and putting the team together so we all win. And that's having the insight. And that's how we end up going up the corporate ladder, is understanding the entire business, like Danisha said earlier, knowing who to put where, when to put people where, and knowing what to pitch.
I love that. One of the things we'll do on teams that I've led and teams I will lead in the future, we do an assessment. I'm really big into astrology. I want to know your top 3 signs.
What?
I want to know what you like to do on the weekend. I ain't no work-life separation on this team. I need to know, because that feeds into what motivates you. And if I, as your manager, know what motivates you, that means I can get you out of the funk you may be in about whatever happened yesterday at work and someone da-da-da-da. Like, you have to know your people and their strengths and their opportunity areas.
Message.
I think the key, which y'all both said, was the key to that is when you're in the position of leadership and you're able to put together the team and you're able to do that. But remember, we're talking climbing the ladder. Sometimes you are just inserted into a team that's already operating and already there because you're just filling a position, a vacancy or something like that. So then what do you do in situations like that? Go ahead, Cuzzo, jump in.
No, it's not necessarily true.
I would do the same thing. Yeah, I would say, listen, I need to know. There's a thing I used to say couple years ago, and I think it still rings true. Coming up, you do try to reach for the big leaders, the people in the C-suite. You want them to be your mentors. You want them to hear you and talk to and have them talk to you. You need to be looking around you. Who are your peers? Who's sitting next to you? Learn about them, because if you can navigate that, then you can navigate anything. So I would say it's the same approach. Understand, no matter what level you are, has nothing to do with the title in your, what's in your title or what letters are in, above before your name. You're a leader because you're human. Like every human, any human can lead, right? Like mentality.
I was gonna say that was a late for more than a title. I was like, say it, sis. More than a title.
I was waiting.
Can we do it again? I know we lied, but can we do it again? Because
I have my finger on the school bell ready, right? Ready. I'm like, she's gonna say it. She's gonna say it.
She's gonna knock this shit out the park.
Run it back for the clip. Run it back for the.
All right, there you go. Third period.
More than a title. It doesn't matter what's before your name. It's more than a title. Okay?
There you go.
There it is, man.
But before you ask the question, I just wanted to say, but you don't have to be in leadership to do that. I was in sales, bro. If I know what I first do when I first go into an organization, I want to know who the top person is. I'm going straight to him. I want to know what you do, how you structure your day, how do you prospect leads, what are your objections? I want to know everything. So you don't have to be a leader to do that, but that shows that you're a leader. The fact that you're even going to the person that has the information, you're taking it back and extracting it. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Oh yeah,
that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, you have to take inventory. Like whatever room you're in, that's my model. Like you got to know the room you're in. When I started getting to the work field, I started Googling people, everyone on my team,
that's right,
searching it, because you have to know who you're working with, because if you don't know, you don't know, and you need to know.
You need to know.
Now, Dad, you definitely didn't Google me then. Look, Dad, you definitely didn't Google me then.
Oh no, I
guarantee you didn't Google me. You got a picture of the Tasmanian devil.
My first Google this came up. I should have scrolled further down.
Met
That's
us
all.
in person.
I met
You got a picture of the Tasmanian devil.
Listen, there's a story in that, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
A story in that.
Shout out to Marvin. Shout out to our bro Marvin. Said that's exactly
Yeah,
what
Marvin,
you're
yeah.
with the AHOA. I personally
Yeah.
benefited from Danisha's guidance. This is
Beautiful.
in real time. Shout out to
Beautiful,
Marvin,
yeah.
man. Shout
Shout
out
out
to
to
Love you,
Leah.
Marvin.
Leah, shout out. What up, sis?
Love you, Leah.
Yeah.
Sis,
Leah, where you been?
dudes.
Where you been, Leah?
Yeah, we do for some den dudes. What up, sis?
I love y'all.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
this is what it's about, Danisha. You know, again, just coming on, right? This is unscripted. This is just like having a free flowing conversations with your bros and your sis, you know, because, you know, some of the best stories come out from just free flowing conversations, right? You get comfortable and you understand that this is a safe space. You know, you can say what you want and express what you want. And everybody's just here asking questions, and it's opinion based, right? There is no right or wrong answer to this stuff, right? This is just your journey, right? What did you experience? Because what you experienced might be different from somebody else's experience. But the goal of this show is to take your experience where somebody can now hear it and say, whoa, I'm in a similar situation. And then maybe let me use the approach maybe that she went and maybe that can help me navigate my situation. That's what this is for.
I love it. We need more of this. The dialogue and discourse in public. I think about Bell Hooks. She talks about teaching to transgress, right? And that literally means I need to be able to like pull up with you and be like, I didn't like what you said, but let me tell you why. And then we come to an agreement. It's not always just us agreeing to get along and yes, man, yes, woman, yes, this, yes, that. It's really like, how do we have some tough conversations, but come to consensus? So, and have fun at the same time. I appreciate what y'all doing.
That's right.
Facts.
To have us fun.
If I pull somebody to the side, cuz don't know not Des, you don't know yet. You'll learn though. You'll learn. Cuz don't know when I got a problem with somebody and I pull them to the side, it's real simple. I'll be like,
Raise up, gonna be trouble.
And this is what he's like. And this is why we started it. Everybody plays a part. You gotta know his strengths.
Correct.
Go whoop that ass.
Correct. We're gonna protect you.
Don't be
Make
like
sure you don't have to do it.
Don't go too far. We need you on Tuesday and Thursday. Don't go too far, but whoop his ass.
Where he go? Go find him. We need to make sure he good. He good?
As a fact, I want to ask you about how important is it for you being a single mother, right? You said that you're a single mother, raising 2 children and still now navigating career, et cetera, et cetera. How important to you is your support system with the people in your community and your village around you that allow you to do what you need to do day to day and help you out with the raising of your 2 children in the manner that you want them raised in?
Yeah, I love that you said in the manner that I want, because that's also important. That's how you pick the right people in the village.
Yes.
Everything. They're everything to me. You know, still being in the Bay Area, still having my parents live in the city and be so close. I can call them, ask them to come through. You know, I need to go be somewhere else. They are here. We have a sitter who's been with us for 8 years. She's family. I just say sitter because I know that's, you know, how people can connect it, but she knows my kids in and out. And it's important to have that. They know what I stand for. They know my values around communication. Like we asking questions, we asking all the questions and teaching them how to do that. So I wouldn't be able to do and show my kids what it means to be a single mother, excelling, working hard, making a name for herself if I didn't have that. And so I give them credit all the time too, because there is no single journey parenting thing out there. Your kids are influenced by so many things. And so you need a community.
Message.
You gotta listen to him. You can learn something.
No, she on it. But that's real. Like I feel like I'm hijacking. Sis, am I hijacking? I don't want to feel like I'm hijacking. Just go in there, shoot the shot. Tell me to shut up. Do something. Tell me to shut up. You know how you?
Y'all keep asking the questions I'm about to ask, and I gotta go back to my question. Be like,
go.
Now, Des, you got to get quick on the trigger. Quick on the trigger. You got
do your shit. It's your show. I'm sorry. I'm on mute. I'm on mute.
It's my first day. First day on the job.
You're doing great. First day where?
You killing, sis.
Thank you.
Yes.
because we jumped in a little bit, but I want to talk to you about social media.
Yes.
That's and it's a multi-part question because I want to know, like, you know, as somebody in the marketing industry, like when you're looking at client social medias and like how do we engage more the culture in the community through social media, but as well as like, you know, people who are looking to get into the workforce, like when it comes to their social media, how to have that look, and you know, and then we can start going into cancel culture. So let's just start with, right, when you're curating for a brand, and you're trying to connect to our culture, like what are some things that you look for in their social media pages, and what are some things, you know, you definitely like, these are the target things you need to hit to really engage that audience?
Yeah, it's a good question. My first question always is, what are your values? What do you stand for as a brand? I want to be able to see them written somewhere on social, on your website, something, but also need the people who are the brand managers and leaders and curators of that brand to be able to communicate that in a clear, simple way. And so asking that question kind of sets the stage for us to be able to find who their communities are and who they should be talking to and how. But if a brand can't articulate their values and their mission and vision, I'm not going to say, oh, let's engage the Black community on XYZ, because then you're going to come off inauthentic and, you know, not be seen as someone who's part of the community. So really understanding their values, who they hope to be. I think one more point is understanding how people see them today. So you may have the vision and the aspiration to be part of the community, but if all the signals are saying, no, the community is not engaging with you and here are these reasons, then you got to take some introspection and have a clear plan to address those things that you aren't doing today.
How do we identify the performative work? We've seen brands be like they're part of the community. We've seen the targets when George Floyd passed
the
away.
Black squares, yes.
You know what it is. You've seen it on LinkedIn. We've seen it on Instagram. We had Philonise Floyd come in. George's brother come on the show.
Yeah,
said,
that's amazing.
When he passed away, he said everybody was there, but give it a year, 2 years, and people start slowly disappear. I hate that performative shit. So how do we really know who's really with us in the community and who do we work with to get their message out? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it is action over time. Are you staying true to the thing that you say you were going to do? And it takes us as consumers to say yes or no, right? And I don't think there's the blind trust that we are giving to brands anymore and corporations anymore. Our expectation is that they follow through on the commitments that they would. And I think it takes leaders like us, podcasts like this, to have the conversation and the discourse around when we're not seeing brands kind of live up to what they said.
I can understand the brand part, but I want to address the people part. I want to address the people part.
Yeah.
I want to play devil's advocate for a second, because
the devil doesn't need no advocate.
Yeah, the devil already has enough advocates.
The devil good.
That's the part.
Get him.
He's doing good by himself.
So, you know, my thing is like, as I got older, I started to really understand the nature of a human being and truly appreciate that everybody has their own journey that they're experiencing in that moment, right? Let's use the George Floyd, example, right? That was just one. Remember, we had back to back instances of injustice and our people losing their lives, right, to brutality and things of that nature. I don't think that people like fall off where they don't want to support the cause. I just think that sometimes it's impossible to keep going full throttle on something on the left when life is just pulling you in different directions on the right, and you're trying to just kind of maintain and stay afloat on the things that you're doing from day to day. So priority wise, that's just not your main priority in the moment, right? I think we just got to find ways to just try to keep people connected where at least we're still doing something, right? But people go through real shit every single day, Danisha, like every day. And the bad part is the worst shit happens at the time when it's not like when you need, like, please God, do not let no crazy shit happen to me today. That's when the worst shit is gonna happen. The most inopportune times, some crazy shit comes up where it could completely like take your focus away from anything else other than dealing with your personal situation. So, you know,
Yeah.
I
hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you, and it's real. Like, people live their lives every single day. And I think part of what keeps people connected is the community piece. And so, again, going back to what are your strengths and what are my strengths? And maybe my strength is reading policy and understanding how to break things down in a simple way to everyday people so they understand what's kind of going on in the larger ecosystem. Maybe someone else's strength is having messages across social media and making sure their fans, followers are understanding of what's going on. Maybe someone else's strength is really getting out there in the community and hearing what the needs are so that then you can come back to that person that understands policy and say, this is what this community is asking for. We need to be going up to these meetings and making sure they're hearing directly from the people. And so I think it does take a very community-centric approach because no one can be everything to everyone. Even if we look at, you know, the Montgomery bus boycott and other movements in the past, it's primarily been led by a small group of people who understood the assignment at that time and the outcome. That our outcomes have to continuously change. Our outcome cannot just be one blanket statement. And so we have to be very nuanced in our approach, but it has to be community centered. And I don't think we can lose the point that you're making of what and how can we change everyday people's lives so they can live and be, but how do we do that in small micro moments, but that turn into bigger moments?
I love that answer because I'll use myself as an example, Danisha. Like one of my roles when I was doing construction and I moved up the ranks, I became an organizer, right? So with me being an organizer, we developed a Black caucus because our union had caucuses for every other nationality, but the Black one. So we created a Black caucus called the 100 BCW. Our purpose was not only to educate people in what we need to do and what unity looks like within the union, but also to do things that the union itself couldn't do because of the federal regulations that bind the union, right? So what we did was we were very involved politically, right? We would go to a lot of these political events. We would go to Albany, and you know, I went to the last 100-man march in DC, and we did a lot of these things, right? But once I shifted from construction and I'm not kind of doing that actively anymore, it doesn't mean that I don't care about it. It's just I'm doing something else now. So if you looked at my activity, you was like, oh, damn, he's with this person. He's with, you know, Mrs. Flowers, and he's with this and he's with that and Al Sharpton. And then it's almost like a dry spell. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't drop the fight. It's just I'm not actively in that organization at the moment, at that time. So other things are pulling my attention away. It doesn't mean that I don't care, but now I have, like you said, I have to find a different way with what I'm doing now to still give back and still be involved within the community. So I think people like go through situations like that.
And take the ERGs. Just to give everybody the ERGs, and our ERGs is not kind of the same. You gotta got more backing on you. Like we've been in ERGs, and I've seen like 10 Black people on the call, and we're like, hey, what are we gonna do to help each other? We already know each other. We already talking about the same thing. But like, what kind of resources are we getting to actually create some change in here? How do we make sure our voice get heard? Because the person usually from tech companies I've been in, the head of the ERGs, the people who sign over the budget, don't get us. I'm just keeping it real. I can say that now. Matter of fact, let me give myself a message.
Let me give myself a message.
That was real. I was too real. I hope I didn't jam myself.
I think it's about power, Danisha. I think that my thoughts on how our movement should work is power. I think we keep not understanding that what the value of power is, right? And because of who one of our guests said it, said something like Black men negotiate for money, white men negotiate for power, right?
Wall gear.
Wall gear. Brother Walt said it, right? And I believe that to be true, right? Like I said, when we was in the organization, we moved very strategically. Okay, what's your strength, right? Like you said, Danisha, what's your strength? What do you want to be? So one person was like, oh, I want to be a part of this organization, whatever. Okay. How do you become a part of it? Okay, he became a part of it. Now that you're a part of it, what's the leadership role looking like, right? Because we need seats at the table. See, the problem is we can't affect change from outside the room. Nobody's in the room. And then
So I was just gonna say, it depends on also how we are defining power. I think we need to interrogate what that word means to people. It may mean something different to you than it does to me, than it does to Jarrett, than it does to that judge. So like, what do we all mean by it? And get on a similar wavelength with that definition, and then start to strategize on what that outcome of that definition is. Because I do think, to Walt's point, there's that dynamic happening, but are we looking for that? Like, what is the outcome that we want to see? And so I think interrogating that a bit more with more nuance could go a long way.
Yeah.
The ability to make decisions, to be a decision maker. Is that not, if we're just always the worker class, right? As defined by the Constitution and all these other things that defined Black people for so long, right? If we're only considered ever the working class, the workers, and never management, then we will never technically affect change, right? That's the one. When I talk, look, you go for perfect example. Okay, you go work for any company. Doesn't and if I'm wrong,
no, it definitely is not a matter of wrong or right.
I'm saying if you go work for a company as a worker, right? There's strength in numbers, but if you go to work as a worker and there's a bunch of workers, but there's management, whether you agree with what management says or not, you either do your job or they're gonna get rid of you and find somebody else that does it. That's my message, right?
Yeah.
But now, Danisha, if you're a manager of company A, Jarrett's a manager of company B, Nadej is a company C, and I'm at company D. Now, effectively, even though we're at different companies, we can collectively work together because we can affect change from different aspects. And I can say, Danisha, what do you need, Danisha? What do you need to support your team and what you're doing over there? Okay, I'm going to provide that, but guess what? Jarrett's also going to provide so-and-so, and then we can piggyback off each other, right?
I love that. I'm for that 1,000%. Yeah,
that sounds like communication in organization, which I definitely think that's what our community needs. It needs.
Right.
I love it, and you're also not gatekeeping the information, right? If you learn something that I don't know, you're sharing it with me, then I'm sharing it with someone else, and I think we need to see more of that happen. Because we're all kind of dispersed. We're all kind of in these different corporations and can seemingly be siloed. But when we are able to come together to have these very strategic conversations of this is how decisions are getting made over here. Okay, comparing that to how decisions are getting made over there. What's our missing gap? Like, how do we strategize for that? I'm 1,000% with that.
I want to not that.
My son gave me the thumbs up. Like,
giving you a chance to jump in on that. We gotta get a light or something.
Got a light to go. We're gonna get a flow.
We got it.
Yeah,
they love it. They love it.
Thank you. Yeah, so I want to continue on that conversation about like being communicating as different organizations. Like, what I would say, like, what do you do? Like, what are some examples that you do in your day-to-day job where you are communicating and connecting with other professionals to try to push our agenda forward?
Yeah, it's a really good question. One of the things I do and block out on my calendar every Friday is a Friday to talk to people in the industry. Always. Like, you hit me up on LinkedIn, I'll take the call. It'll have to be a Friday. So if my Friday's booked, we'll get you on the next one. But it really is engaging with people that are kind of outside the sphere of influence that I have and understanding what's going on. Someone said to me earlier on in my career, like, the higher you go, you will get so removed from the day-to-day people and what their needs are. And I was like, heard you. I'm gonna make sure I never let that happen. And so my inbox is always open to strategize, to communicate, to learn from y'all too. I don't know it all. And so I'm very much an open book when I have those sessions with people, because I want to learn about things, that I may not be seeing, but I need to hear from. I do that internally as well. I'm always talking to people what's going on, what can we change, what can we fix, and bubbling that up. So our leadership kind of knows what the community is facing and feeling and hearing and seeing.
Yeah, and I guess because I'm gonna keep saying, I'm like, as a young professional, like, how can you mentor or give some advice to us to get into those rooms, to hop into those conversations, and work our way to those tables?
Yeah, figuring out what your purpose is, who you are, and who you want to be, not because it's more than the title.
That thing, dunk it.
So really, like when you
this motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking.
He's good. He's good.
when you can articulate that,
Mm-hmm.
then we can start to see what are the rooms, where are the tables, what do you naturally need to be in, because there is a missing gap in those rooms. They don't have a person that thinks like you. And I think continually refining and fine-tuning that kind of pitch about who you are and who you want to be is important for you and the younger generation. Because everybody's like, I want to be in the room, and they'd be like, for what? What you want to do? When you get in there, what you gonna do? I think we miss. You want to get there so bad. Then when you get there and be like, oh, they're not talking about nothing that, So when you do get in there, make sure you are talking about something that people will want to hear and can understand and can move on and act on.
And you nailed it. Like, remembering your purpose. A lot of us get to the door and get to that room and then are so afraid to leave the room that we're not putting the fucking ladder down.
Yeah.
Or we're not bringing those, or we're not changing the conversation. So, like, to piggyback on Adej's question, right? So you're the inaugural head of impact and inclusivity of clients. Like, how do you make sure that that's the role for you? Like, I'm trying to word it the right way. Like,
yeah, no. It's a great question. As we've talked about, my background being very much in the social space. It was after we did the Beauty of Blackness with Sephora. It took almost 2 years to get that film out there. We had 2 women Black directors, clients very engaged in telling the story of Fashion Fair, really seeing us all kind of come together and be so about getting that story out there. I was like, I have to do more of this work. Like, have to. Not just because I want to. More people need to hear these stories. There are so many untold stories about Black women pushing the line and not giving the accolades or even having their story told. Again, so many unsung heroes who have just done so many things. And I said, we are continuously asking these brands to show up, but we also need to have accountability on our side. We need to have someone who can push for making sure this work gets out there. And so my pitch was, I want to do that. And here are the reasons why. And my company is amazing. They were like, yes, you have to do this. Let's do it. We want to support you. Again, not easy, but the intention and the ambition is there.
Shout out to them, man. Shout out to them for being real.
Yeah,
and being willing to take a chance on it too.
Correct. And I'm like, okay, I inaugural, yes. The only, no. So we have plans for other folks who are engaging in this work. There's a path that they see themselves, taking what I do, evolving it. Again, I don't know everything. Let's give other people a chance to kind of do this work too. And so that's what we're working on.
So I'm going to piggyback on what you said, Cuzzo, about people always wanting to get into the room. And then when they get to the room, they don't know what to do. So Danisha, my question to you is, in your opinion, right, if you could express what you think, we talk about brand voice and brand mission statement as a culture right now, what would you say as a collective that the Black and brown community needs to have as a singular mindset of what our cultural voice should be? What is our message, right? What should we all be like working towards to get to? Like, in your opinion, what would that be?
I want to see more of like the Black Panthers and the Young Lords. I want to see more of that. Black Week was a great example of that, but like, how can we come together and be more united and have these type of discourse openly with ourselves so that we get on the same page? Because I think before we go making demands of others, what are the demands that we have of ourselves? How are we?
We got
On button. Oh. Woo!
Clock
No,
it.
real talk. Like, what are we? We got to get in the mud a little bit and have some of these conversations. They might be tough, but we need to make sure, like, it's. We're talking about the queer community. We're engaging them. We are, bringing in younger folks, bringing in older folks. I want us to be. When I think about power, that to me is the power.
Okay.
Us figuring out what our 10-point plan is.
Oh, I love it. So now the next part to that has to be accountability.
Correct.
What are we going to do when we put people in positions of power, or they get to positions of power based off of a certain ideology of, I'm supporting this, I'm supporting that, broken promises, etc. We see it every day, and they then do not deliver. How are we going to come together as a culture, and what should we do to start holding these people more accountable for getting to the room and then fucking up the opportunity for people that's going to come behind them? You understand what I'm saying? Or not doing what you were supposed to do when you got to the room. So now we didn't technically accomplish anything.
And this, I don't know, I might lose some friends.
Wait, gotta get the bell.
Hold on. We are 6th or 7th period now. Let's go.
Do you need a disclaimer first? Because I can.
No, I'm good. I'm gonna keep it a buck. A message hopefully will be clear. I think that we have taken on characteristics that are not core to our communities. The whole punishment, the whole cancel culture, the whole locking people out. I think we need to interrogate that a little bit more. Now, there are things that should not happen. Harm should not be happening. I just want to say that. I'm not for that. But we got to, again, if someone goes left, how do we reel them back in, get them back on track to do what needs to be done? And that's going to take a special skill set. It may not even be me. I'm not even signing myself up for that. But who are the people that can help us really start to interrogate some of these practices that we've brought into our communities, again, of punishment, again, of locking away, again, of you mess up once, it's over. Is it? Like, how do we teach, and give that person an opportunity to be accountable and go fix the problem? I don't think we need Martins and Malcolms, just one of them. We need many Martins, many Malcolms, many, Ella Bakers, many of them. And so we got to be working on the same page book, though.
Can I say something with you? I agree with everything you're saying. The only part I disagree is everybody can't come.
That's part of it. Listen, Harry has said, if more people realized that they were going towards liberation, then she would have took more people, right? And so that's real. But I think we need to give people a chance.
No, I'll give people, to give you our baseline, right? So just on a personal level, if you don't take care of your kids, you can't chill with me.
I mean, that's your values. I feel you.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like certain things in our community, I'm not giving we're unks now. I'm 36, right? Cause you know what I'm saying? Sister, you about to be auntie, sis. I'm gonna put you up there. You about to be auntie soon.
Oh, I was like,
I was on that bench.
Cut the shit.
Again? No, I'm playing.
Aunties and now we're gonna do it. Some people can't come on the ride. Like, what I mean by that is like we always say, we have a saying here, you have to choose to be him or her. We have to know what the mission is. You have to choose to be him or her. If you out there doing F shit, are you out there, making our community look bad? If you're being a stereotype, if you're not doing anything to progress your family and progress the whole unit, then you simply cannot come. We've had brother John Graham, Dr. John Graham come through, and we've talked about that. Like, what does the new Black community look like? What does the new Black Wall Street look like? What does this look like? And everybody cannot come. Will we give you a chance? Yes, but you cannot. Your history is going to show who you are.
I mean, and that's that too. Like, people's actions will prove where they are on the line. And I think once we assess that, that's 1,000%. But I think we need to assess it, and we need to all be kind of operating from the playbook, from the same kind of playbook.
I also want to interject. You grow what you're exposed to.
1,000%. Come on, ring the bell for my good sis.
I can't even get to. Hold on, I'm gonna hit it with a. I hit it with a
So,
video.
you know, there's a lot of our community, you know, you don't know what you don't know, and they're not exposed to those opportunities. So, right, for those who are exposed, it's right. How are you reaching your hand back? How are you putting down the ladder and exposing our communities to more information so they can make that choice? Because oftentimes it's because you know a lot of you hear, I ain't have a choice. This is what I had to do, and they're being honest because they didn't have a choice, and that's what they had to do because they didn't know any better.
No, they had a choice.
They
had a choice.
You know, everything is a choice. Did you have enough information to make an informed decision?
There we go.
Maybe not.
You know, you're right.
You picked a side.
But my dad always told me people will always do what's in their best interest with the information that they have.
And that's part of the problem too. We are moving in individual interests at this point in time. We are not moving in collective interests.
Right.
And so anytime we're moving as an individual, we are going to continue to see us having the same problem.
Right.
Right, you're right. I can't.
But watch this.
Just say
go.
before we put the ladder down, you have to have the mindset to even get to the ladder.
And do you? Correct.
And do you? That's
do you have the mindset?
Damn, motherfuckers can't even get to near the ladder, let alone dissect or dictate what we're gonna do.
They're like, I just got to the ladder. Why do I need to bring it back down? I'm trying to, and it's like, okay, we didn't make sure you were clear on your responsibilities when you climbed up that ladder.
Right.
So this is a real conversation. I love it.
I'm all for forgiveness, Danisha. I'm all for forgiveness. Absolutely not.
The way he's
let's just put that out there. He is a Leo. He is a big Leo.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
I know who I'm working with now. All right.
Milan.
Oh Jesus. Oh no.
I'm all for forgiveness. I'm all for forgiving people for making mistakes. I'm all for forgiving people for doing things with, not all the information and doing something. There's a very fine line between people making mistakes and people doing shit that they know is absolutely egregiously wrong. Let's be very clear. Very clear. Yeah. My biggest issue is not people making mistakes and us working with them to make them better. My biggest thing is people taking advantage of their power and doing the most egregious, just vile shit when they get into position that not only again destroys them as a person, but destroys now the possibility of whoever's next coming up behind you to be able to take that position without the spotlight and the scrutiny and everything that comes behind it. That's my biggest issue right there. The mistake, we all make mistakes.
That's right. We're human.
We're not perfect.
Right? We're human. No, we're not perfect. But like Cuzzo said, right? You have to have a certain moral compass. You know what the bottom line is. There's a very easy way to say right from wrong. And when that's not even wrong, homie, that's dead wrong. Like, you understand what I'm saying? That's dead wrong, right?
The code has been
correct, right?
Yeah.
That's my thing, right? I find that a lot of times with us, we get to these positions of power, of leadership, and instead of ensuring that we are taking care of the community, it turns into the greed factor. How can I manipulate the situation, right? The individualism. How can I do whatever it takes to benefit me the most? Now, here's the code switch also. We going in not understanding that just because you're in that position, you're still not playing their game. You're playing our game. The problem is they get to that position and think, now that I'm here, I'm a part of the club. I'm a part of the good old boys club. I can do the same thing that the good old boys do. And you're trying to play their game. And that's the problem. Because
that's definitely one of the problems. And I think even as you're talking about it and you're kind of storytelling around it, it's also, we are thinking in these very limited, there's one spot, there's only one spot. Like, I have to get into the spot, then someone else gets into the spot. We need to kind of reimagine the way we're thinking about all of this in general. And I don't think we're giving ourselves enough time to be able to reimagine what we actually want to build and how we can build that collectively and together. I think we're still trying to map to the model that's before us, and that will take time. It's not going to be changed in a day, but if we can collectively say we're trying to break some of these models because they're just not working for us anymore, that gives us some opportunity to reimagine what they could be.
I'm sorry, I'm on mute. I didn't realize I'm on mute. This is such a dope ass conversation. I want to go deep, but I don't want to go too deep. I do want to talk about the Sephora movie though. The Beauty of Blackness.
Did you watch it?
No, I did not. I'm gonna keep it all the way real. I am gonna watch it. I'm
Okay.
funky. I did it. I ain't gonna lie to you, sis.
I'm
never
just,
lie to
it's
you.
good.
I would
It's
never
good.
lie to you.
It's good. It's good.
But like, tell us, how did that come about? How did that idea come to fruition? What was the results afterwards? How did it impact Sephora? Like, I just would love to know all of that stuff.
Yeah, it's so funny. The brief was simple. Fashion fair is making a comeback. How can we create a moment around this? Because we know what that, we being Sephora, knows what that brand has been to Black women, women of color, being a first, and then how hard it hit us when we lost the brand for a period of time. And so really just telling that full story, not really trying to sweep things under the rug, but also showing her vision for what a brand could be, but the challenges of running a brand in this current state, right? Like that was also something we wanted to kind of see come through with new leadership in charge. So 19 months of interviewing, of finding talent, of interviewing our clients at Sephora, and stitching together this amazing story. We had a historian on. We had beauty advisors and people who have been in the industry on talking about how they felt about the brand. And so it was just really heartfelt. We had the community talking about how they felt when we lost the brand. It was just a beautiful, full story that was full, again, of grit, but also success and pride.
You on mute, Cuzzo.
Now my fault. I'm sitting looking it up right now, making sure I can stream. I wanted to put it, make sure that
please, HBO or Max. I'm sorry. Let me be correct.
I got you. I'm sitting there.
Yeah, it was so good. Max said we need to have this film. And so it's still up there, still getting accolades. Watch it, please. It's amazing.
I'm watching it this week.
Okay, I'm gonna come back and put a comment in the chat.
And we're gonna put the link in the description. So if you want to go see it,
amazing.
We will for Danisha's episode. This is what she's a part of, and this is what she helped do. And this is why it's important that we're in the room, because these things don't happen unless we in the room and have a say.
Yeah. There was definitely conversations of making sure we're not giving off any angry Black woman just because she has a point of view. Those are the tidbits and cultural insights we were sharing. But I'm so proud of it still.
Says,
but we're angry.
I mean, it's okay to be angry, for sure. You got to be angry. That's your business. Yeah.
We mad, goddammit. I'm tired of hiding this shit.
I rock what you said. You know what? You from where we from. That's why I love that you were that. Like, real shit. I love that you're like that. I love that you're in the room. I love what you're doing. Like, real shit.
Thank you.
The fact that you have award-winning production, and the Beauty is Blackness. For them to even come up with that brief, I wonder who was on the brand side that came up with that brief.
Sephora understands the value of the Black community, the Black shopper, the women of color shopper, the embodiment of a shopper that's different, and differences should be celebrated. They understand that, so they were about it.
Message. Shout out to Sephora, man. Shout out to them. Yeah. We
got
we're going somewhere too, but you know what I mean? Black queens of the world, man. We going to con, baby.
We gotta hook my guys up. They need.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. I need some work.
Hold on.
No one said anything about work, but whatever you need us to do.
Like a nigga need the thing. Hold on, what you mean? News anchors, everybody. I don't care if you all. If it's Shannon Sharp, Stephen A. Smith, they all get makeup.
Exactly, and it's okay. It's nothing wrong with it.
Nah, but it was for the tone. Like, I gotta hook my guys up. Like, it's like my tone earlier when I said,
it's diverse and inclusive. We can make sure the skin tones are matching, and make sure there's no shining happening in the camera. We got you.
I'm shining.
Boy, you don't know about makeup, bro. You don't know about makeup. I'm a model back in my day. My fair share of makeup. Shout out to Al. If I don't shout out Al, he'll kill me. Like, yo, you really shout me out. So look, Danisha, I want to talk about the importance of your legacy really quickly.
Yeah.
So this is a big topic for us.
Yeah.
Legacy, right? We always talk about building generational wealth and what that means to the individual, right? Some people believe that generational wealth is just providing a financial a platform for their children. We believe that the generational wealth is actually what you invest in your children and themselves being your generational wealth as now they come up and keep the legacy going and keep the family going and then keep recreating that for the future generations. I would love to, find out what your take is on what you think generational wealth is and what's your plan for your family.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Okay.
It's no longer, I would say, just about wealth. I mean, that is part of it. You do want to leave something. I do want to leave something for them to live life comfortably, but also to be able to use, let's say, this house as a way to engage their fans, their friends, their family in the future. That's part of it too. Like knowing you have somewhere to lay your head is a privilege. And I think having that kind of built into my legacy is something that I do have, but also a legacy of curiosity, a legacy of seeking knowledge, a legacy of going above and beyond just who I am as an individual and thinking about community. It's a small thing, but I say it often to my son because he's younger. He'll be like, Mom, I'm hungry. I'm like, well, did you ask your sister if she's hungry? And it's just that getting them thinking about not just me. It's not just about me. Let me go see if somebody else is hungry.
I love that.
So just little things like that, I think, are important to me. Building empathy is really important to be part of the legacy. I tell people you don't have to like everyone, but you do have to be kind and have some empathy. And so I'll leave it at that.
Message.
Love that answer. I love that answer.
That was real. Yeah. I know we're in an hour and a half. We can keep going. I just want to let all the listeners know because we got people on Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, everybody going crazy. Sorry, not getting to it. This is our first episode. First of all, this is our first time, all four of us being on a conversation. Just to give you context, this is our first time. We've met Nadej in person, and I'm gonna give you just a quick little story before we end this off. The reason why we've had Nadej on the show, right? We were at the Wealthy and Famous Mansion party in Bel Air. We in Bel Air. When I tell you, Danisha, she was working that room. I know that's right. She was working that interview. Bing, boom, bing, and doing this, doing that. She interviewed us. I'm like, damn, we just talking. She interviewed everybody. Her work ethic. It's important. Was impeccable. And then we thought she was with a crew. We came back the next day. She was like, nah. They were like, she by herself. And we were like, not no more.
I'm like, go get your girl. They like, we went to interview her. She had left. And I was like, yo, go. I told one of the guys, yo, go get your friend, your girl. And they like, who? I'm like, the girl with the brown dress with the braids, the one that was with you. Because I couldn't pronounce her name. I kept messing up her name. So they like, oh, she left. I'm like, so why are you still here if she left? They're like, we not with her. And I'm like, oh, she by herself? Oh, okay.
That's how stand out. First impressions, everything. Sometimes, like you did that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we call time, Danisha, right? So we got, we understand that you understand the the political and the social economics, but you from the Bay Area. You from the Bay Area, right? So I know you the prim and prop. I see the nails and all that.
Damn, that was that dash moment. I said, damn, that was that dash moment.
Wait, she had that? You had that question?
No, I said that was not Daddy's moment. We sitting there giving her praise. We letting her know. I thought you going that route. You just took the look.
No. I'm setting the layup up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you prim and proper, but I know, we like to have fun on this show. So you from the Bay Area, and I see the personality. So, be real with me when you back home or when you out and about representing the Bay Area and you hear this. Come on now. What that make you feel? Yeah.
I ain't gonna say I love E40.
That's what I'm saying.
One song where he was on beat. And we keeping it real.
I'm just saying, Danisha. I just want to know. Did you go?
I already know. Come on. We're an E40 stand.
Did you go ride the whip a couple times?
Say it again.
I said, did you go beat?
We can both talk at the same time.
Yeah.
I said I don't like E40. He don't rhyme on beat. I said, how do we do that? I love
That's
him.
That's the point. That is the point.
What beat? I'm from the Mecca.
What beat?
I'm on beat.
I wasn't going that route. I was just saying, did Danisha Ghost ride the whip with the nails and all?
You know what?
The one time you
jumped out, you're gonna keep it real prim and proper because
you did it once.
That's for the
Come on
after
now.
dark.
More than
That's
title
for the
after
after
dark.
dark episode.
You're a genius, Danisha.
Yes.
More
Got
than
you.
title
Segment now.
Stupid.
You know,
Can't
you know,
wait
I
to
had
see
you
that
know, I had
coming
to have
live and
that ready.
direct from More Than a Title. More Than a Title after dark.
Listen, you know, I had to have that ready though. You know what I'm saying? So go
You
ahead,
did.
Nadia,
I
you got-
appreciate you for having it ready.
Yeah, I waited to the end, but you know, I just wanted to see if them shoulders would move.
You
There,
already
there,
seen it.
there go the swivel right there. There go the swivel. That's what I wanted to see right there.
At the
Go ahead,
top of
Nadia, you got
power.
something?
You know?
You want to say something,
No.
Nadia?
No, that was just I wanted to thank y'all for seeing that in me. Because I went there literally, and so you know, Danisha, I literally bought the ticket to LA the night before.
Oh my God. Purpose. Come on, purpose.
Yeah.
You listen to that inside of you. You did the thing you needed to do and look at the payout from it.
Yeah, no, and I literally told him I was like, sometimes you got to do the crazy thing to get the crazy result, and here we are. And I'm
Always bet on yourself, and you did.
Oh, right. That's that's both of them. She's good. She's good. So let me tell you, right? We have a lot of people online right now. You have a lot of comments. You have nothing but an outpour of love and support.
Thank you.
Please let the people know that that want to reach out to you, that want to reach out to your organization. What is the best way to get in contact with you?
Yeah, follow me, find me on LinkedIn or Instagram. Again, like I said, you hit me in my DMs, I will respond, and we'll get time to talk. But I appreciate y'all for listening, and I really appreciate all of y'all for having me. It was fun.
Yeah, and like we always say it, man. Please be respectable. When you're reaching out to these guests, understand, like I said, that they have careers, and like she told you, she's a mother and things of that nature. They have things that they have going on. So if she doesn't give you an immediate response, it doesn't mean that she's ghosting you or anything. Respect her as a professional, and just understand that she'll get back to you when she can, right? And just be respectful, So, we like to do this for every show, Danisha, and it's our pleasure to, say to you, welcome to the More Than the Title family. Welcome to the More Than the family, right? So, a couple of the things that entails is, first off, we're almost at our 200th episode. So we've had 190 something guests before this, you understand, including yourself. But what that means now is you have access to every previous guest that we've ever had on the show, right? We don't gatekeep, and we do this in real time, right? If you go through our catalog or you happen to see somebody that was on the show that you want to connect with, what we do is we normally ask the guests to put their personal phone number in the group chat so we can start a 3-way chat. Now it'll be a 4-way chat between all the guests because we don't do managers and all that. It's a direct connection, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to connect with a guest, previous and future guests, because all of our guests understand that we're going to do this, you let us know, hey, I would like to connect with so-and-so. What we do is we check your schedule. We'll get on a Zoom call to break the ice. A, this is B, this is A, and then we jump off the call and you guys form whatever relationship you need to form from that, right? Because we've already vetted you by bringing you on the show. So we understand that you understand that another guest, and we haven't had a problem yet, right?
Amazing.
So that's number one. So welcome to the More Than the Title family. And now, because we missed you at Black Week, now, if you ever in New York, right? If you ever in New York doing an event or anything like that, we love to support. If we're not doing anything, we'll come and support your event. Or if you just want to, come to the hood and get a cheeseburger or something, you want to go to a crack spot or something like that.
You want to come to Long Island and get a really good bagel.
Okay.
You want a good bagel with cream cheese, you come to Long Island.
All right.
You know what I mean?
No. I would not do that. No.
Yes. Long Island bagel.
Bagels.
I stand on that. Y'all
we're
not a good bagel.
We're not doing bagels.
You can do bacon, egg, and cheese in the city with that, but you want a good, basic cream cheese bagel,
I got you. Don't worry. I can do both. We'll figure it out.
She can do both.
You got you want some collard and a bagel.
That's what I'm saying.
You want some collard from
You need to go to Famous Fish, bro. Get some soul food, get some fried fish, some
Famous Fish
shrimp and all that.
delicious.
Yeah. Want no bagel, not that. What are you doing? It's not Starbucks over here.
Don't shit on not that, but no. We'll
No
get
bagels.
No. I love you, not that. No bagel. No Long Island bagel.
No Long Island bagel.
Don't sleep on Long Island. Okay?
No.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
on Long Island, I'm sorry. I love you. Except for we had to.
You see what my big brother, they already
I
teased
see how they doing you.
ladies and gentlemen, I forgot to say it at the beginning of the show, so I'm gonna apologize to you guys for that, because I normally start with another phenomenal episode with another phenomenal guest, and I haven't steered you wrong yet. So I'm gonna say it right now. This was another phenomenal episode with another phenomenal guest, and this queen came on, and she, again, she was vulnerable. She told you her story about her being a mother. She told you what her support system looked like, right? She told you what her goals looked like, how she followed her educational path, and things of that nature, right? And she also was reaffirming that we need to lead with love and be more empathetic towards people and try to help each other out more, right? That's one of the messages that I got from this, right? We need to stop being so judgmental towards each other and start teaching each other more to move forward towards a common goal, right? But understand that she's a hustler. She flies in and out. She does what she got to do, all while not breaking those pretty ass nails. And she let you know this hair always going to be slayed. You seen the earrings. You seen the earrings, you gonna see the fit, right? So that reaffirms what I say for every single show. You know what it is? The dream is free.
But the hustle is sold separately, y'all. We're gonna see y'all Thursday. Episode 200, Monique Nelson, Thursday, 200. We're gonna go crazy. Shout out to Monique, shout out to Black, shout out to Danisha. We love y'all, man.
More than the title. Y'all can't fuck with us.
What you know about me? Seen it all, heard it all. Oh, what you know about me? I done it all, just want it all.